Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 185, June 3rd, 2020. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Michael Aston.
Hello, everybody.
Matthew Ross.
Hey there.
And Jimmy Trammell.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Doing all right. That was kind of difficult because everybody's not in their normal positions, and trying to switch up something that you say on a regular basis is difficult. Yeah. What's going on, guys?
What day is it?
I think it's Wednesday. I've been working since last Friday, so I don't know.
Which month is it?
It is, unfortunately, is June, which means in just a couple months, I will have snow.
Where did May go?
Oh,
I kind of missed May.
I got to tell you, I agree. Not only do I feel like I missed May, I kind of feel like I missed April too. Like,
yeah, kind of.
I got back I went to this nice little vacation in Disney World in March, and I swear that was a week ago.
Oh, it feels like it's been a long time.
It feels like the longest week in all of history. But it feels like a really long, miserable week.
It does feel like it's been weeks since March. Absolutely, it's been several weeks in March, but it does not feel like we had April and May. It just doesn't feel like they happened.
Yes,
yeah. Weird.
But you know what the answer to all that is?
What?
Total Wine delivers.
Yeah, but if you don't drink wine. See, the problem is Domino's. Domino's does deliver too, but too much Domino's makes me even bigger than I've gotten over the last.
Oh man, yeah. No.
See, here's my dilemma. There's like 6 months out of the year that I'm trapped in my house, and I slowly get larger and larger, and then there's a couple months where I can be outside and work most of that off.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a slowly losing battle over the years. You know, you keep a couple each year. This year, I think it's all over. I think, by the end of next winter, you're probably going to see me as one of those like 400-pound people that's been living on Domino's.
So they called it early on. They call it the COVID-15, the 15 pounds that you gain. So.
It was 15.
So, it's going to be a problem for everybody. I know I have a bit of that going on. Ugh, man.
I mean, if you see pictures of me from like even 10 years ago, you go, who the hell is that?
I saw a picture of you with short hair and no beard, and you looked so weird. It was weird. I'm sorry. You don't.
I can't go back to that.
I'm not sure I believe that exists.
Oh, it does.
You're going to have to share that because I haven't seen it. I don't believe
it was in video. It was a CES video.
Oh yeah, look up Monoprice CES. I think it was 2014. You'll see a video of me.
You'll hear the voice and you go, "That's not that." I recognize that voice, but that face is obviously a deep fake. That's what that is.
But what's not a deep fake, or is it? The stuff that we're supposed to talk about?
It's totally fake. This is all fake, including the news. Including that the news that Google has added 1440p support for their Stadia platform if you're using Chrome. Basically, they've been working on getting their promised 4K support for home computers and other devices. But as they are working towards that, they have just set up the 1440p step between the two. It does require the same amount of bandwidth as you're probably going to need for your 4K solution, which is 35 megabits down. And it does require that your computer have the hardware to hardware decode VP9 codecs. So your computer has to have at least somewhat of a modern processor and or video card in order to display this. But 1440p streaming games is impressive. So
I was going to say, I think if 1440 is, oh no, it's, yeah, my phone, that's the native resolution of my phone is 2880 by 1440. Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, my phone is like 3 years old too. That's the LG thing. They started pushing that like 4 years ago.
LG's big on their displays, so yeah. I get that.
But yeah, no, I think it's a good move. If it can handle it. That's the question, because there seems to be a lot of speculation about whether or not Stadia is stable enough even at like low.
I've played it. It's fine. It's actually not that bad. It's definitely got a tiny bit of lag, and it can have more if you have a bad connection. But it's definitely playable in many cases. So I think Stadia could end up being a thing. It might just be a niche thing in the long run, but it'll definitely be a thing.
One way or another, Stadia will always be a thing. Whether it was a good thing or a thing they regret, that is still yet to be seen.
I'm in this situation right now where I really wish Stadia was totally ready to go, because my situation is thus. I've been trying to play games to just kind of unwind and
no, he talked about Stadia and playing games, and we lost him.
Oh no. See, I'm still on the bandwagon that I think the biggest mistake they made is they have yet to pay Phil Collins to sing Stay Stadia.
That would be a good stunt.
That is the thing they need to bring in the masses.
Somebody make that a title.
I wonder how much Phil Collins would charge for that.
Right now, Phil Collins isn't doing much. I assume he's probably cheaper than he was.
I would imagine, right?
Hey, we just shuffled places.
oh,
hey, this looks normal.
I don't know. Have you guys completely moved on?
No, we're still talking. I was saying that Google's biggest mistake is that they still haven't paid Phil. They resist paying Phil Collins to sing "Stay Stadia."
Yeah,
that's what they need. They just need that one viral thing that makes that nobody will ever forget.
I think Stadia needs to completely transition to a white box product and get those third-party companies to start using it hardcore for whatever reason that they want people to use it. And I think the commercial product of you paying for a subscription or paying full price for the games, that might not end up working in the long run. It might, who knows? But short term, I think the third party, they have this deal with Blizzard Activision. If they could make that so, hey, play any one of our games instantly, we're using Stadia, or I think that would be great if they can make
now. You know what would get people on Stadia? Fortnite keeps delaying their new season. If they could just get the exclusive and be like, hey, you still don't have season 3 on your PC? Well, we've got it here.
Yeah, that would be totally awful. You're right, though. It would probably be a potentially good business move, but it would be awful. What I wanted to say, though, is that my PC is having trouble. I'm playing even Ghost Recon Wildlands, which is like 4 years old or something like that. It barely handles that.
I mean, it barely handles streaming to the VOD Squad, which is the lowest fidelity anything you can find on the internet.
That's my MacBook Pro, which is got.
Oh wait, that can't play games at all, anyway. So never mind.
It can't play games at all, anyways. However, that's my internet connection, which sucks, which is thanks Spectrum very much for giving me horrible internet.
Spectrum hate. Oh, there you go. Title: Spectrum hates Stadia.
Yeah.
If you can't send, you don't have a good enough bandwidth to send video to Zoom. I doubt Stadia is going to work very well.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I don't want to go out and buy a $2,000 desktop, but what are my options? I either play on a crappy desktop, replace it, or I go with a solution like Stadia. Well, Stadia doesn't work for me because A, my internet connection, and B, I like playing first person shooter type games, and any latency and lag becomes problematic in those kinds of games. So that is the one experience I had is in an adventure game, fine. First person shooter, not so fine. And so I'd really love if they cleaned up the latency issues, if Spectrum would get their butt in gear and give me reliable internet. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go out and buy myself another $2,000 desktop. And that's
so I'm a listener to the Diamond Club Hourly show, and there's a lot of talk about how much the Stadia is really not very good. Is this Spectrum just bad? I mean, are they just like maybe even on purpose bad, but just or maybe just you
got to remember with ISP, it's a lot of times people will attribute it to their reputation based on your personal experience, but it all comes down to infrastructure. So, ISP may be great in one area and terrible in another, and it's all infrastructure. Did they inherit it from somebody else and it wasn't maintained? Did they just choose not to maintain it? Is it new? And
the reality is where I live, almost anywhere else within a mile of my house, I would be able to get fiber that's reliable. But because utilities, basically, no competition, there's AT&T, there's Spectrum. Neither of them cares to improve the infrastructure in my neighborhood. So I don't have fiber. I max out. I can actually occasionally get up to 100 megabits per second, but sometimes I get 50. No, not 50 megabits per second, 50 kilobits per second. I mean, I'm on dial-up at times, and usually that only lasts for 10 or 20 minutes, but geez, that's really not acceptable. But they have no motivation to fix it. It's a few thousand houses in this area, and it's probably several hundred houses in my area, and they have tens of thousands in Austin, so why care about that neighborhood? It's not like I can go to AT&T. It's just as bad.
See, and it's the same thing that I'm experiencing is I'm paying for gigabit. I'm lucky to see 200 over the last year. Now I've been here for a year. I'm able to look back over the last year and say, no, this hasn't been worth it, especially now that my sweetheart deal ended and I'm now paying over $100 for this terrible, but I have no choice.
My internet's about to get really bad.
I'm on an island. There's several hundred houses on this island. They're not running fiber to me anytime soon. Yeah. I mean, they care about it so little that the Mediacom office that was like right down the street from me, on the same street as me, they closed it down about 6 months ago. They don't care about us enough that they even took away our place where we could go scream at a person. So yeah, no, it's just, Mike, what all of those ISPs are going to tell you is you've got nothing to complain about. You chose to live there. It was your choice.
It's true. I have literally thought about moving because of this. I mean,
and they will say, okay, that's fine, because we'll just get whoever moves in.
Yeah. And they will choose to live ultimately there. The problem is that they have no motivation to change. There's no reason for them to change. If you buy the house, you've already bought it. It's not like you're going to sell your house over that. Well, not immediately, because you'd lose too much money. So people just get stuck, and there's no way around it. And you don't really usually know how good or bad the internet is, because even if you do a ping when you first move in or while you're visiting, it could be good for that moment. Like I said, mine's generally decent. Usually, I think I average about 20 megabits. But there's times and non-trivial amounts of time that it's absolutely awful.
Yep.
And then you could be like me. I bought this house purposely because the neighborhood was wired with fiber.
Yeah.
Only problem was it took 12 years for a fiber service provider to plug up to it.
And that's
right?
the thing. There's still places almost 20 years later that are still waiting for fiber to be lit up in areas where it never will be because you've got companies like Comcast and AT&T that are willing to pay to make sure that it doesn't get lit up.
Right. That is a problem. It's the incumbents are making sure that it's not legal for
it's not necessarily, they
come
just
in.
make it not worth it because ultimately whoever wants to light it up will have to buy service from them,
right?
Because they don't want to do it. So
the problem is, most people only have one or two choices for internet service providers, right? Yeah, we need at least a couple more in every neighborhood, and then you'd see problems like Mike's go away.
That would naturally solve.
Well, and that's the thing that Google was trying to do, which ultimately worked. In the fact that nobody wanted to roll out fiber until they saw, we're at risk, we better do it.
Right.
I'll attest to that because Google Fiber was coming heavily to Austin. They stopped at the Austin city limits, which is about a quarter to a half a mile away from my house. But inside Austin, internet's amazing because Google came in and started putting Google Fiber everywhere. And so now inside Austin, you can get gigabit speeds from all of the providers, Google Fiber, AT&T, and Spectrum. Anywhere pretty much offers gigabit speeds because Google came in and added competition and forced them all to match. But I was outside of that range and I talked to them about it and they said, oh, we decided we weren't going to add fiber because they started advertising it when Google did. And then, a few months later, they realized Google's not coming into your neighborhood, so we don't need to do anything.
Yeah, I think too, I mean, the oncoming 5G, that's coming wireless and all. And I think a lot of the fiber providers and cable providers and all are a little reluctant to spend money on the infrastructure for that when, perhaps maybe 5G or whatever is going to come after 5G might end up replacing it, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. There is do I have to spend infrastructure on it where I could just put up towers cheaply and get people fast internet? But will they? And will it be fast enough for most people or for heavy users like us maybe? Will it be reliable enough in the long term versus a hardwired connection? Because wireless is always worse than wired. All these questions.
Yeah.
Not always.
Conveniently.
The thing is,
cell phone.
The competition is coming. Just like, everybody was saying this was the same conversation go back 15, 20 years ago we were having about cable TV, and there was no competition, but the new technology is on the horizon. I mean, we've got ubiquitous 5G coming. Well, that's, SpaceX and other companies are working on with low Earth orbit satellites. I mean, that the shift away from traditional internet is sooner than you think. And you're going to see the same thing we're seeing with the cable, with cord cutting, which, I mean, I wish somebody would talk about that. But you're going to see that with the migration from traditional broadband to wireless soon.
Yeah, that's the one thing that has me very hopeful, right? Like, is the idea that just like, I mean, I have this love-hate relationship with Elon Musk because, I know some people that have worked for his companies and it's been pretty atrocious because he pushes them hard, and so it's not the greatest working conditions. But at the same time, he comes in and he upends industries, as we saw just the other day, of him privatizing space flight for NASA astronauts, right? And if they can do something similar with adding the ability to increase competition for ISPs, and therefore force ISPs to actually try, that changes the game, and that's what we need to see. And so I'm super excited about that potential future.
I'm always in the point I always bring up is that I am in favor of competition, because competition is what you need. Deregulation is always the best move, because more competition is better for the consumer.
And it's going to be led by the companies that are innovating, right? The Comcast, the Spectrums, those kind of companies are not really innovating all that much,
No,
right?
because they don't have
the
to.
innovators are going to be people like Google,
Mhm.
Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. Those kind of companies are the ones that are innovating. I think SpaceX, right? Those kind of companies are the ones that are going to solve this problem, right? I don't think it's going to come from the traditional cable companies. I might be surprised by that, but given the history, I think they're just going to ride it all the way into the ground until somebody puts them out of business.
Now, I know this is completely way even further off topic than we already are, but do you think that Elon Musk was so driven to succeed because he put up with the fact that his whole life his last name is basically the equivalent for stinks or smells? Musk is not when you say, ooh, yeah, you've got a Musk about you. That's not a good thing.
Well,
isn't there a cologne called Musk?
Well, I mean,
yeah,
Musk
that's a kind of
is a
cologne.
kind of smell, and it's not always good, and it's usually not good.
No,
and for kids, I wonder if they called him Stinky growing up.
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that's the
Africa,
kind of thing
probably
that
not.
usually when you put up with something like that, you go on to do good things because you've always got that thing to rail against to drive you. So I always wondered if it was because of his last name.
Maybe.
Son named Sue.
We can talk more about Elon Musk.
So Elon, come on the show.
Oh yeah,
we'd like to ask you about your name.
Absolutely.
I know you're doing something with spaceships, but we're not interested in that stuff.
Hey, what are we interested in? Hey, did you know Philips has these cool lighting effects that you can do for your TV?
Philips is still a company?
Philips, or is it? I don't know. Who was Mr. Phillips anyway? Since we're talking about companies and names,
I think Philip had a kid named Hugh, though.
Oh yeah, he did.
I think so.
Poor kid. No.
Hugh.
But no. No, they've got a specific box for their TV called the Philips Hue Sync Box. It's designed for for their TVs. It allows you to have that dynamic backgrounds on it on your TV based on what you're watching. And they finally, as promised, are now allowing voice access to your Philips Hue TV. I don't know if that means you can set like specific colors or if you can activate it, turn it up, turn it down with this.
What this does is it basically synced. If you're running Philips Hue lights in your house, you better be, if you're going to have the Philips Hue streaming thing, the sync box, because otherwise what's the point? Is when you turn on your TV, you can have it set to go to different modes, lighting modes and whatnot. The fact that it didn't have voice integration was kind of weird, especially since all other Hue stuff already did.
Yeah,
that was the whole point of the Hue stuff, is you can talk to your Echo or your Google Home or whatever and control your Hue. Why did it not work with the lighting or with the sync box?
Also, this remote finally allows the compatibility with standard infrared remotes, and also has explicit support for the Harmony Universal Remote now, which oh god, this is not a thing. Come on, Phillips, you're way behind on this.
I know. Welcome to news from 2014.
1996.
No,
Come
well,
on.
no.
I mean, infrared.
Oh,
Well,
IR.
yeah, that's
IR
that's
went
really
away.
old,
No,
but-
I'm fine with no IR. RF is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. IR you basically only need for TV, you know.
Yeah.
In that, I can't think of anything else that should or even has, IR. But
That's all right. Hey, maybe you can plug this thing into your Philips Hue TV sync box. Title is the name of the game of the high quality audio streaming of various music. So for the audiophiles out there, there's now a version of the Tidal streaming service that is compatible with Dolby Atmos systems. Specifically, it supports the Apple TV 4K, the Fire TV Stick 4K, and the NVIDIA Shield TV.
Yeah.
But this means that those boxes will be able to get the full 7-speaker surround sound audio from the Tidal service, as long as you're paying for their $20 a month.
So basically, if you have a device that plays Dolby Atmos, you can now actually listen to the Tidal music in that Dolby Atmos.
Yeah, this is
surround.
cool for the audio
Yeah, no,
file.
I
I mean,
mean,
goodness.
it's good.
Yeah, I mean,
I still don't see the appeal of Tidal, but
But if I was the audiophile and I was like, I want the highest quality thing, paying $20 a month versus paying $10 or $15 a month for a supposedly higher quality, it's fine. I have no problem with that. But the fact that things like this wasn't a thing yet on it, this is something I would have been like, well, when is this coming?
well, I mean,
If I'm an
Tidal.
audiophile,
I won't
would have all
disparage
that.
Tidal because they are still relatively new company. I mean, they've only been around for about a year now. So I think they're moving pretty quickly in bringing this, because you figure when they first launched, Atmos was out there, but availability on a lot of devices wasn't quite ubiquitous.
Yeah.
So I think they're moving at a good pace. So good for them.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So, in what is amazing news that I think is wonderful for us all, Yamaha has introduced a remote cheer app that they've been set up for various things. Actually, they've done a test of their remote cheer app, allows their remote cheer devices to be out in a stadium. They did a test earlier this month in Japan's, let me pronounce this correctly, Shizuoka Stadium. I hope I said that right. And they packed it with 58 of these speakers all around the stadium, and they allowed people to use this app to either cheer or jeer the crowd, the things going on, and they've had somewhat success of it actually working.
Okay.
So
So I'm kind of mixed. On one hand, I think this is terrible because the potential for trolling. On the other hand, I so hope that this gets trolled. I hope that there is a way to do custom audio and somebody finds a way. Think of like that terrible Vuvuzela thing, that happened. Like that just happened, right? It wasn't like a targeted strike, but this is something that the deeper or the more seedier parts of the internet, like the people that destroyed the Mountain Dew campaign for naming the new Dew, and it ended up being like, was Hitler really that bad?
yeah.
I want those people to take this on.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yamaha
Like I said, I'm torn.
sucks! Yamaha sucks. Is what
I mean,
Yeah, but-
I gotta say, I think this is a clever move. I think it's great that those sports folks can enjoy their sports in a way, I guess. So sure.
Imagine
Those
thousands
sports
of
ball.
imagine a stadium full of fart noises. That is both awesome and terrifying at the same time.
Well,
Because that's
see-
the kind of thing that the misuse is the kind of thing that will take this and destroy what could be a good idea.
Well, see, obviously this thing was designed to be out and popular until a vaccine is developed, right? But what Clyde is talking about gives it life after the vaccine, right? I think that's the point Clyde's making.
And I hope this actually stays, because if I were a rabid sports fan watching rabid short sports show and I was sitting at home watching, I would love to have a button that just says boo and click on that and have my boo added to the crowds of a bad thing happening that I'm seeing live on TV. I think that's actually a good thing. It adds a lot more of ability for me to interact, even though I'm not there. Now, I wanted to talk about this specifically because we had made the argument earlier that we need to have this kind of thing in our concerts, because the very first week of this entire pandemic, there were some concerts out there and they were like set to like empty places, and it just felt weird. And we made the suggestion, I think I made the suggestion of the wavy arm guy to be out there to be cheering on, turning them on. But yeah, this is exactly the kind of stuff that makes sense in the short term. Totally, I hope more of this stuff, even if they're fart noises coming from the internet.
So remember when back in the early 2000s, they started showing like user comments on newscasts, and people figured out that they could hack it and make it say anything they wanted.
Yeah.
That's what we're facing.
No, I think, Clyde, what I think is once this is out, you need to get it for your next movie party and pre-program in some sounds so that you guys can do your movie party through cheers and jeers.
Well, we've had that, and Twitch already has this feature if it's turned on. So like, I hesitate to say it might actually be enabled on this stream because nobody ever uses it, so I don't know. Where you can make stuff say stuff live on the stream.
Yeah, I don't think it's on. I hope not.
I mean, but also, Discord also has that feature, and a lot of servers forget to turn it off, where you do /T, or I think it's T to make it say, and then you type something and it will say it out loud to anybody that's in that channel, and it scares the crap out of people when all of a sudden their computer starts yelling at them, and it's so much fun.
So there's one other thing, is that if this could be abused, even if they're only given a certain number of options. Famously, if you you've played Hearthstone early on, there used to be a sorry button in the emotes. There were very few emotes that you could use, and they changed the sorry button into
Poodle
an
Puncher
abused,
said like this.
See, that was Discord. I just
okay. But anyways, it allows you people have been able to use that one sorry remote after literally smashing all of your various things on the board, and then saying sorry, and then passing along, and then repeating sorry and sorry, and so. Anyways, yes, this could be abused, and I will have a
Poodle
new
Puncher said Fayard.
Fayard.
Yeah, it was a really long fart, but it didn't.
Yeah,
It didn't know how to pronounce it.
PBPBPBPBPT. That's
Yeah,
how you pronounce it.
I fart in your general direction.
Father smelt of elderberries. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about health, because Samsung. Let's talk about our healthy farts. Samsung has their own platform for health. There's a health platform that they're getting started with, and they're going to be providing it on their new 2020 TVs. This is going to be it's also going to be on their older 2018 and 2019 models, where they're going to be providing you some apps and some experiences for exercise and stretching, and for well-being. This is them looking to provide like 5,000 hours of free content to people who are using their platform.
I am super excited. The last time I went to the doctor, I was really sad that I only had to sit in the waiting room for 30 minutes and got to sit in the waiting room for 30 minutes to watch their TV. Now I know I'll have 5,000 hours of that same kind of health and wellness content at my house, available anytime I want. This is a weight off my shoulders, man.
All I know is I'm looking at the article and I see that picture. Are people supposed to fold like that? I think her leg is broken. You don't need to watch the TV. Go to a freaking doctor. Your leg is like bending sideways. I don't
Obviously, she's not.
understand.
Obviously, she's not my age. That's for sure.
No, and she might be. I think she fell down and her brittle bones snapped,
She's
and her
like-
leg is like folding, not like this. It's folding like this.
She's just looking at it interestedly. Hey, this didn't used to do
No.
that.
That's not
Um,
right.
On a serious note, I know Mike's it has interest in a lot of the medical stuff, which is why we check out a lot of that at CES. This made me think of that remote care bus thing that we talked to
Yeah.
for like people that are, homebound. They don't have to have a doctor come see them every day. They can get on a tablet and do their daily consults, and the doctors get feedback. A lot of that is we're moving in that direction, where there's going to be a point where very rarely will you have to go to the doctor, because you'll be able to get the information you need or do consults and stuff remotely. And the fact that they're doing this on their regular TVs is cool.
Yep.
You don't have to
Did
buy
that-
like a multi-$1,000 special edition OLED to get it. So sure.
Yeah,
My-
I did. I
just-
did this last week. I did the teledoc thing with my doctor.
My thing is, I just wonder if somebody remembered to check at Samsung before they went ahead and put the time and energy into this, if you could potentially maybe just watch health content on YouTube for free already.
Yeah, but do you
thousands
want
upon
to be the
thousands of
person
hours?
that goes to YouTube to get health advice?
Well, that's already my point. Is like, how many people are like, "Oh, there's a new health channel. Let's go watch it." I missed what I got to watch.
If it's a dedicated platform with with backing from well-known entities, it's got like more legitimacy than just popping up a channel on YouTube.
I will concede. I mean, they've got like Jillian Michaels.
Also,
and
do
other
you
big
really
names,
want to?
so-
Do you really want people to see in your watch history or your YouTube watch history that you were looking at like warts or the health things that you were looking up?
Oh, incognito mode. We love you. I know it's not
Yeah.
much, but it's something. This is sometimes, it get to the point where like I need to fire up a virtual machine of a Linux
Yeah.
box
I mean,
that I can
even
destroy.
even if you use incognito mode or a fake account, there's gonna be that one time you forget to switch. You're in a hurry, and then and then it's in your like history that
Forever.
people can see what
that's-
videos have you been watching.
That's what they make the Opera browser for.
You're gonna boot up your Kali Linux VM and
Heck
open
yeah.
your Tor browsers
Heck yeah.
with your VPN setups.
And still turn on incognito mode, even though I know I'm gonna just destroy it all. Doesn't matter. Okay. Hey, there's this Hulu is doing this new thing, this newfangled thing nobody's ever done before. They're calling it watch parties. If
Wait.
you're an ad-free subscriber, you can sign up to watch a. Everybody's already like, wait! I want to tell you something. It lets you watch things with your friends over the internet, as long as everybody's subscribed to the ad-free version. and they can all watch the same thing together. Now, the one cool feature I think is cool here is that you are not all synced up unless you want to be. Somebody you can be sync. You can click a button that'll catch you up to everybody else, but otherwise you can go back or forward on the video and watch whatever part you want, and then sync back up later. That's cool. Everybody who is doing this should totally implement this.
I think Clyde had something to do with this.
No,
I think Clyde called up Hulu, and he finally
No,
got
no,
him to
no,
listen
no,
to
no.
him.
I've been waiting for their call, and they refused to cut me in. So what I'm doing is right now I'm mounting a legal defense against all of these entities that are infringing on my IP. If you would like to be part of the Poodle prosecution fund, we're not prosecuting Poodle, we're helping Poodle prosecute the others.
Isn't that patreon.com/
Patreon.com/
the oddest odd, right?
I guess that one, but that one doesn't collect much money.
Help
So
Poodle prosecute. Help Poodle prosecute.
yeah. No, I actually got an announcement. I logged into Hulu the other day and it popped up and said, "Hey, now you can watch with your friends." I said, "No, thank you." I only watch terrible stuff with people.
That's true. You definitely have
Because
the
otherwise,
corner
I mean, if it's
market
good,
corner
it's
for
no
the,
fun because then everybody's afraid to talk. And when people do talk, then you go, "Crap, we just missed
I missed
that."
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But it doesn't matter.
I don't see the point of watch parties for good content. It's awesome for bad content.
It totally makes sense for something you've seen before.
Hulu has Sharknado.
Do they though?
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay.
In more than one.
But actually, I hear Sharknado is actually fun to watch, which is why we haven't done it for Movie Party, because I think it's above our standards.
I think they're trying to be low, but
that's
budget.
the thing, is it's one thing where they're trying to, and they don't really. Yeah.
Versus actually being low budget.
No, the ones we like are the ones where they were trying to be good but completely failed.
So I don't have a story here for it, but also apparently at the same time, Plex announced their streaming service too. Now the cool thing about this one is that you're streaming your own movie that you have on Plex, and there's no limitations as long as you have the computer hardware to stream it and the bandwidth to stream it. You can stream it to however many people you want to host the party for. You're the server. You don't have any internet server to be streaming from. It's coming from you. But that's a pretty cool feature that they got on this. So that's good. I might try that with a friend sometime.
Now you can more easily distribute your pirated content.
Exactly. And watch at the same time. And again, watching something you've seen before totally makes more sense if you want to have that conversational piece. If you want to have that thing from a new episode that, have that together with your friends, that's another big thing people do want sometimes. So,
and let me just add the fact that when the thing came up alerting me that you could now do watch parties on Hulu, it wasn't even novel. It was just go away. That was my reaction, because it's become a thing that's just so common. You remember several months ago and we're like, wow, Twitch is actually letting you do this. Even though it wasn't open to very many people, but now it's like, who was like, hey, we're doing it. It's like, I don't care. Go away.
Hey, Fubo TV, that streaming service is kind of, was sports centric, but kind of is more like news centric now. They've come out with an app for the Xbox One platforms. That means if you have an Xbox One X or Xbox One S, you can get the 4K version. Otherwise, you get the 1080p on your regular Xbox One. This is just glad it's finally happening kind of thing.
I feel so bad for Fubo.
I know.
Because
Sports,
that was the thing. The one thing that set Fubo apart from everybody. That
was a good choice.
Only care about sports,
we got you covered.
We've got sports with some other TV. But then when the sports goes away, and it's like, hey, we're Fubo. We've got some TV.
And
That's
news.
not a good business plan.
And news.
So yeah, I hope the best for Fubo, because I like them. I prefer Philo, but because I'm not a big sports guy. But yeah,
Yep.
Fubo is like the T-Mobile of over the top streamers.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Roku is made an update to their live TV, their free TV channel, the Roku channel. The update has got a new interface that makes it easier for you to see the new stuff available on their Roku channel. It's a very nice looking guide with a traditional layout and nice, mostly black. This is them moving forward into the. Trying to show you exactly what you can see and on their platform.
This reminds me that I completely forgot to test this in the last beta thing. It's like, because they'll send out like to-do list, and this was one of the things I said, oh yeah, I'll do that, and then I haven't been.
Oops.
I was like, oh crap, I haven't been using my Rokus. I've been stuck in this office, so TV on my PC. But yeah, no, it's good. From what I saw, it was useful. It was pretty easy to grok what's going on, which is the most important thing. No one likes a live guide that's busy or confusing.
Very cool.
Hey, it does look nice.
It does. Sega has announced a new Game Gear Micro. This is the little tiny Game Gear device. It's very much like their original Game Gear, but instead of that big chunky thing, this thing has got a tiny 1.15 inch screen. It's got a resolution of 240 by 180. That's right. It's tiniest little thing you could think of, and allowing you to pretty much allowing you to enjoy games like the Sonic and Shining Force and Gunstar Heroes and Outrun on one of these little platforms. How much are they saying going to cost?
A lot, probably.
I'm
trying to think, what is their marketing campaign? Hey, would you like to play all those games you can already play on your phone, but on a much smaller screen that kind of somewhat resembles a thing from a generation that, before you ever even alive? Well, for $150, you can have it.
Yeah, it looks like that it's going to be $200 for all four of them.
Yeah.
Wait, you get 4 of them?
There's 4 of them.
No,
yeah,
so you can get like a 4-pack for $200?
4-pack, each one's a different game. Yeah.
Oh, there's only one. That's even worse. Oh man, I thought you just picked one and you used like an SD card with think of like the NES thing that had like multiple games on it.
Nope, little tiny thing, little tiny.
Fit every single Sega game ever made on a chip this size.
That's correct, but you can't. But it doesn't have a good gamepad.
But my point is, you could have put one of these in that and offered more games. No, if it's only one game per, absolute waste. Absolute waste.
I'll end up buying one for my son because he's a Sonic maniac.
And yeah, I think they're appealing to the last Bible. Yeah,
so maybe
appealing.
Maybe I'm reading that wrong.
Right?
It's so I guess there's a lineup of games on them. They don't tell you anything about what the games are, but there's 4 different models. Maybe it's just the styling. One's Sonic, one's Shining Force, one Gunstar Heroes, and one Outrun. So I can't tell the way it sounds. Rereading it, it sounds like maybe you get multiple games on each one, but each one is styled visually differently around that game.
No, it sounds like, yeah. So each one is its own game. But if you buy the 4-pack, then you get the big window micro lens that makes it. If you scroll down, you'll see it. The 4-pack includes the thing that makes it bigger.
Yeah, and it is, each one has different games on it, but they have more than one game. It doesn't tell you how many.
Yeah, I see a picture that shows a bunch of like SD card games on the, here, I'll show you guys.
Well, I mean, this is for parents to buy for their kids to say, hey, here's how we used to play games.
So there are multiple games. I was going to say that would be absolutely stupid if it only had one game.
Yeah.
Why would you buy it? It's like, remember those faux video games that they used to get back in the early 90s? And it was just like one game. It was like football, and then you move the guy and the footballs are coming in. You know, yeah, no.
I mean, honestly, this is totally crazy because it makes way more sense to buy one that's twice as big and has all the games, which would be totally reasonable. However, I bet this thing takes off because it makes, like, I can imagine, you know, a 12-year-old or an 8-year-old being super stoked about getting all 4 of them and being able to try all the different games and take it with them to their friends' houses so that they can play the things together if we ever get to interact with other human beings in houses again.
I interact with human beings in houses all the time. But
so
yeah.
All right. Well, good luck, Sega. I'm to put it in Jimmy's words, I'm sure they'll sell hundreds of these.
Sure they will.
Probably will. Hey, so there's been rumors of a new Google Android TV dongle coming out, and those guys at XDA developers have come out with found a bunch of information, including images of what the device should look like. It's codenamed Sabrina, and it is a dongle that sits behind your TV, plugs into an HDMI port, much like one of the other various dongles out there, and we still need more information about it in order to know exactly what things are going to be. But it's a very smooth looking, like bar of soap kind of thing. I'm not certain about this.
What's a bar of soap?
Bar of
soap comes in a bottle and you put it on with like a poofy scrubby thing.
Okay, you get poofy scrubby soap. I get it. Okay, no problem.
It doesn't leave soap scum. You don't have to scrub your shower like every week. Yeah, but
Sabrina is what it's supposed to be. It's no idea of yet what the price is going to be. The rumor is it possibly could be $80, and that it's going to be not much information about this. It's a dedicated Google Assistant button as has been seen on it. What do you guys think of this? Is this going to be
okay? If you rewind back a few weeks when we were talking about this and speculating that they may go back to the Google TV name, which I still say is a bad move because it is already an established product with a history. I seriously hope that Sabrina is just a code name because I don't like it.
You don't like the name Sabrina?
Not for the thing that. Okay. Hey, I just got a Sabrina. You know, I'm still against the whole like Siri and Alexa thing, but at least those are just voice assistants. They're not an actual hardware device. You know, if you're gonna name your voice assistant, fine, but no, or if you're naming the code that's on it, yeah, as a code name, Sabrina's fine. But I hope that doesn't end up being then I might have to revert and say, you know what, I think Google TV might be a better name. Because Sabrina tells you absolutely nothing about the device or what it does. I just got a Sabrina. I mean, look how long it took to get used to Roku. You know, now Roku finally means something. But at least it's the company name.
Right.
It's like a scrying stone. It's a small witchcraft thing.
I mean,
did make a little-
Sabrina
is
it
the
did-
Teenage
re-
Witch
is the
reference.
Yeah,
remote?
that's the only thing I can think of when I hear Sabrina. So.
Yeah.
I was
did
going to
make a
say,
little comment.
what
Go
do
ahead.
you call the remote? Oh, there is no remote. Never mind.
No, this one actually does come with a
Oh,
remote.
it does.
It's
Okay.
mentioned in the
Oh, this is the
this one
Chromecast
just-
with the remote.
It's the wand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, do you? What was the cat's name on Sabrina?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
He was the good part about that show. But
I remember there was a cat, but that's it.
yes, that would be the remote's name. Salem. Yes.
Salem.
Oh, that's it.
Call the
yes.
remote Salem. Now, if they're gonna go with the Sabrina name and then they change the voice assistant's voice to be Salem, okay, I'm in.
That would be great.
And snarky like Salem,
And thank
too,
you,
right?
Kruge,
Yeah.
for the save.
That would be great. All right. Looks like our last story here is HBO Max is a thing, and HBO Max is it's a streaming service, and you can go ahead and stream it as much as you want. It won't cost. It won't be. It's not a big deal, even if you have bad data caps. It's not a big deal at all, as long as your internet is provided to you through AT&T.
I just thought about something. How long is it going to be before HBO Max gets on Sabrina? The Sabrina we were just talking about?
Mhm.
You mean on the the hardware?
But you get HBO Max.
Isn't it already on Android?
Get off
TV?
Sabrina! Max!
Oh no!
I don't want you on my Sabrina.
No. No. How long until you think somebody's going to be complaining out there that AT&T is basically doing the zero? What is it? Zero fare?
We should expect this because other carriers have done the same thing with Verizon when they were launching their stuff that they were exempting their video. And yeah, there was a little bit of rumbling saying, "Hey, that's not fair," but then ultimately nobody used Go90.
Right.
So, I mean, it didn't end up mattering in the end, but I think it's to be expected.
I think somebody big like Time Warner, AT&T might see some actual pushback from competition, and that we'll see if that never happens, or if everybody goes ahead and says, yeah, you get the HBO Max stream for free, then nobody will care. But if it's I
think if you're pushing
data caps suck anyways.
If you're pushing someone to use a specific product on your platform, you should exempt them from the data. Absolutely. Because, it makes sense. I would expect it as a consumer. And, cellular service isn't like cable where you only have one or two choices. You have plenty of choices.
Right.
And the customers are free to go wherever they want. And I mean, yes, you may be in a contract, but they're not legally binding. There are ways to break it if you really want to. So, and also, if you're forcing someone to stay in a contract, you're probably just gonna empower them even more to leave when that contract is up. So,
Yep, that's true. All right. Well, that's the news for the week, guys.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's it.
Yep, that's it.
I can't think of anything else that we need to do. So
no, it's nothing else.
All right.
Yeah. Are we done? Are we signing off?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm kind of tired.
We could do
Yeah,
that.
I think I want to mention something. I think there's a lot of people out there that suck, but I think that there are some people out there that don't suck.
Wait, really?
And yeah. And sometimes I forget that, but then I come on this show and I remember there are a select number of really amazing people that not only do they not suck, they're awesome. And there are Patreons.
Those
There
people
are people that aren't total jerkwads out there. You're right.
They're very far and few.
Patrons, the patrons are awesome. You guys are why we do this. your support. You see value in what we do, and you show up, and we appreciate it. If you are not currently a patron and you would like to be, if you would like to have additional say in what we do, you just go to patreon.com/thebot squad. And also that goes for patrons. If you want to have say in what we do, you just got to say something. But yeah, thank you. On that note, we should probably get some rants and some raves. All right. Who's got something?
I can start. One of the things, one of the amazing things is that we were walking through the store, and I have set a timer earlier in the day to remind me that a certain event was going to be happening this last weekend, and it was the launch of the Dragon X capsule.
Oh,
So while we were in the store, I was able to take out my phone and bring up the YouTube feed and show it to my son and say, "Hey, this is the first time since in a long time that we've been able to send an American into space using an American-powered device. And that's just awesome." And so, in line at the grocery store with my son, I was able to show him that.
oh, so how'd that go? Did they make it?
Yeah, amazingly, they did not blow up. It was amazing.
Did they make it to where they were going to the ISS, right?
Yes, they were, and they so later on the weekend, my wife and I are like, "Hey, let's bring up the video and we'll just watch the docking of it," which is okay. So we turned it on, and there's a long, okay, are we ready to dock? Or kind of procedure went on. Then we saw the docking, where they got together slowly and finally attached to it. And then there was a 4-hour make sure everything is good before we open the door.
Well,
Seriously.
Yeah, that's one of those things that you can't screw it up. You got one chance.
I know, but still, if we were thinking, they said, because the guys who were announcing it, this is about a 20 to 30-minute procedure. This shouldn't take too long because we got to equalize the pressure and double check these things are. And they had little delays and little things they did. And the good thing, we watched the pre-recorded version because they're like, "Is it done yet?" I mean, it's forward like 30 minutes. Oh no, they're still going. We'll just say, they say it's going to take 5 more minutes. Okay. Oh crap, it's still going. And so we fast forward again. We sat there for about an hour and a half of watching and fast forwarding and watching and fast forwarding. Finally got to see them open the door and the guy go through. And the first thing that happens is the guy goes through and he bonks his head. It's great.
It's like, dude, act like you've been there before.
He had.
I know, that's my point.
But that, other than that, my wife has been watching. I love my wife because she will one day be like, she's like, "I want to just sit here and watch nothing but these chick flicks." I'm like, "That's fine. Go do your thing. I'm going to do my thing." And then I come back. She's like, "All right, we're watching Olympus Has Fallen. I want to watch London Has Fallen. Where can I stream it?" It's like, that is like the most badass one guy takes on the entire army movie I've recently seen. It's like, "Yeah, I love this movie. It's so good." It's like, "Okay, I'll watch it with you."
Cool.
And other than that, yesterday, go ahead.
Is that the newest one?
No, the most recent one is
The Turkey Has Fallen. It takes place. He goes home to his family for Thanksgiving.
But he does that in the third one,
and,
not for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and everybody's fighting, and the turkey hits the floor.
Oh no!
I know.
The third one is London Has Fallen, Olympus Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen. Yes, I think it's Angel Has Fallen.
So I've seen the first two, and I agree. The second one was amazing. It was so good.
The third one is hilarious. You have to wait. Clyde, you'd enjoy the third one.
Okay.
The dad is hilarious.
We'll see.
That's all I have to say.
All right.
Okay.
It's laugh out loud funny. Let me just put it that way. Last, I think that's it for me. That's right. We streamed our high school senior reception last night on the internet. and it went fairly well. I still wish I had done better with the audio balancing, but other than that, I'm okay with it. And we're going to do some more streaming this weekend with the actual graduation ceremony. And so, yeah, and everybody else is like going just amazed that this streaming thing can be done on the internet.
Yeah.
And I was going to let you know that I got a survey the other day from XSplit because they've got a new mobile version of their streaming studio.
Yeah.
So you can do scenes and like all the stuff that we do here, you can do that on your mobile now. So might be worth checking out.
Okay.
You might be able to do some fancy stuff.
No, I'm going to mostly be doing it all from my laptop in this next bit. So it'll all be good. That's me.
That's cool.
Jimmy.
That's like almost like your school cares about the students there.
They better. That's what they're getting paid to do.
You don't care for the students? What's wrong with your schools?
We've had some. They did fine, I guess, but there was not as good a final episodes for my kids. Now they're not in high school, middle school, and elementary.
You've seen better movements in the bathroom.
Yeah. I gotta say, for me, there's not been a lot to watch. I've been very frustrated with TV and YouTube and everything for the last few days. So the only thing memorable that I watched in the last week, I think, is probably the SpaceX launch, and I thought it was pretty enjoyable and interesting and exciting to watch. I was really impressed by the video quality and cinematography. I feel like SpaceX has been waiting so long to do this manned launch until they figured out all the right camera angles and resolutions and stuff. All these practice launches with the drones is really just so that the cinematography could be good. Because I think that they did a great job. There was some good angles on the cameras and placement of the cameras, and it all looked really good. So it was fun watching.
Oh, I gotta ask, where did you guys watch it?
NASA's official YouTube channel.
Okay. Because I did see when I logged on at some point over the weekend, I turned on the TV and Hulu had a dedicated live channel on the non Hulu TV where they were pimping it. But
I watched in my living room on whatever channel my wife turned it on.
Okay.
Probably YouTube.
Cool. Jimmy, got anything?
Yep. I too watched the SpaceX launch, and my wife, and my daughter drove up to Cape Canaveral and watched it live in person.
Nice.
Nice.
So we got to watch it up there, stand up on the bridge and watch it. I mean, we were kind of far away, right? We wouldn't like right up on it, right? But still, nonetheless, it was really cool to sit there and do the countdown, right? And you see the smoke bellow out from up underneath the rocket, right? And then it starts off, and the flame that comes out of the bottom of the rocket is so bright. I mean, you could almost feel the heat as far away as we were from it, and all.
Wow.
So
Cool.
And it was very cool to watch it go all the way up. You could see it go, disappear behind a cloud, and then it reappeared again, and it just kept going all the way up, until just they went into outer space, and it was very cool to see that. That was my first. I had stood in my driveway and saw one of the last space shuttles that launched from up there, like maybe 10 years ago or whenever it was, right? And I remember I could see it from my driveway just before it went out of space. You could see it, shoot up there. But to go up there and be that close to it and all, it was, that's probably something that everybody should do at least once in their life, and if you get the opportunity to do that.
Oh, good.
No.
Anything else? Okay. I was saying
Nothing
I
else about the space
purposely did not watch it. Okay. And you guys can say thank you for that, because I have watched 2 shuttle broadcasts in my lifetime.
Oh,
The
no.
first was the Challenger,
Mm-hmm.
And then we got sent home from school. The other one was a broadcast from Columbia saying, hey, this is our last day in space. This is what we're doing. We're preparing. We'll see you guys on the ground tomorrow. Yeah. So,
Basically, the curse of Clyde goes all the way to NASA and space shuttles.
So I mean, being that SpaceX is
Damn,
not
man.
technically NASA, I don't, but I wasn't, I had no interest in tempting it. The closest I have gotten to a successful, was in 6th grade. I was going to school in Glendora, and Edwards Air Force Base was right on the backside of the mountains from where the school was. So we got to watch the space shuttle fly over on its way in for landing, and then the rumble of the sound barrier being broken. So,
you didn't
I mean,
watch
it was
any of
really
those
low
initial-
too.
You didn't watch any of those ones coming down, and any of them like have a bad landing or anything like
No,
that.
and so
Okay.
but I don't know, because I don't know what mission it was. It could have been one of the ones that the landing gear didn't come down and they slid all over the place or whatever. But no, what I did watch was last week. I remembered a show I've been waiting for and I've been super excited about. A show called Snowpiercer. I got about 15 minutes into it and I rage quit. I was like, I can't watch this. Absolutely hated it. And it made me sad because I have fond memories of the movie.
Okay.
And I realize why I like the movie and I hate the TV show. It's because the movie picks up, they've been going forever. And it appears like, think of like BioShock, something with good intentions. Human nature takes over and everything crumbles and falls apart. And, you have the heroes or the people that are trying to take back or whatever. But then the TV show sets up, oh no, that wasn't the case at all. This was a thing that was built specifically, carefully planned for a specific group of people. And then all of these other people broke in and fought their way on, and they're pissed off because there's not enough food for them. There's no accommodations for them. And they somehow need to take control because we're the proletariat. We're the hero. It's like, no, you're not. You're lucky that they didn't throw your ass off the train. That's what you are. And I realized, nope, that's not the show. The voice that they're trying to maintain is completely counter to everything. It would be like if the four of you worked together to build a bomb shelter for your family, and then I busted in and started, saying, hey, complaining, wait, where's my food? Where's my bed? You weren't part of this.
Right.
It wasn't built for you. But yeah. So nope, I hate Snowpiercer and it makes me sad. But
it's probably going to do really well.
Probably. It'll probably be a phenomenon. So, yeah. Okay. Well, with that being said, thanks everybody for hanging out. Thank all of you out there for tuning in. Hey, W. Scottus 1 rated my stream just in time for us to shut it down. But hey, if you'd like to raid the stream or just hang out, we do this every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central here on Twitch. Come join us live. This is where you get to participate in the chat. You get to submit titles that we will vote on in the post show, which you also don't see on the YouTubes. So everybody head on over to tvs.showbot.tv. There are titles waiting for you, I promise.
A lot of them.
A lot of them. Great. It's a good week. And other than that, if you are a patron of Movie Party, get over and respond to the posts. We're planning for June. It's the last Saturday this month, so we've got time We just got to figure out, since we're not going to Indiana, we got to figure out what are we doing this month. So yeah, word. I guess we can wrap it up. We'll see everybody in the post show. Thank you, and bye.
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 Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.